The Happy Warrior Podcast. Conservative commentary on the news of the day from a more positive perspective.
Hello and welcome everyone. It's good to be here with all of you again. Sorry about for the gain. This is the Happy Warrior Podcast. This is our New Year's episode. I'm here in studio at the Sioux Empire Podcast Studio with producer Robert Mehling.
Hey.
Always good to be here. Always love visiting. It's a lot of fun. Robert and I are just gonna talk smack, jive about some news articles of the day and some really dumb news. It's really good to be here with all of you. Remember, if you ever want to learn more about the podcast or of our social media, we're on Facebook, Happy Warrior Pete, Twitter, Happy Warrior P. The email is pete@happy-warrior.net. You have all those choices and more to choose from, so always feel comfortable to check in with us, and be sure to check out all the other content with the Sioux Empire Podcast Network. What is that? It's theSiouxEmpire.com?
Yep, theSiouxEmpire.com.
theSiouxEmpire.com. Do you ever get a little grief about that, having the theSiouxEmpire.com?
No, because that's how I got the domain name. Because people had thought of Sioux Empire, but they hadn't thought of the Sioux Empire. That's how I get ya. You
like those people over at Kelloland that like every other news article was like, today in Kelloland. And Kelloland's not a thing.
Yeah,
it's a marketing plot.
Sioux Empire is a literary reference, so I'm hanging on to that one.
Hey, and it works. I mean, you do have urban Indians. I mean, that totally works. That gives you some credit to the name.
We live in the Sioux Empire. People use the term Sioux Empire generically all the time.
All right, well, let's get this thing started. And you know what? I should mention that people probably don't know what makes what I do with Robert is when I'm on my own, I can stop, I can start, I can edit, I can move things around while I'm going. But this, we almost pretty much record it live. What you hear is happening is how it goes. So I don't know if that helps you. That maybe you're like, wow, they're amazing. They're talented gravitas. Okay, so let's jump in. Sad to say, but the Women's March, it looks like it's not going to march on. It's dead. It's dead, Jim. And I don't...
Oh, I hadn't seen this.
Yeah, look, now, I should say, I'm all about free speech. People want to march for whatever reason, wherever, go for it. That being said, it is a little Schadenfreude, I'm like enjoying it a little bit. That Women's March is just tripping all over itself. If you don't know, Women's March kind of killed itself. First of all, Women's March was more a response to the Trump election. I mean, that's kind of how it got its go in the front. I think there was organization before that, to be fair to them. But, I mean, it largely came out looking as like, Trump was elected, we actually here stand for women, yada, yada, yada. We do have a local Women's March here in Sioux Falls, don't we, on the 19th, I want to say.
Is that coming up? I want to
say track, there is. My sister was telling me about.
I bet there is.
It may or may not happen. I mean, after all the stuff I have to share with you today. Do you know who Louis Farrakhan is, Robert?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. You want to give people like a 30-second summary? Who is Louis Farrakhan?
I'll let you do that because I haven't followed him in a long time. I hear the name and groan and kind of like change the channel. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, he's the guy that's on Twitter that calls the Jews termites, and he never gets in trouble for it.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Okay.
He's the Nation of Islam, which is like this weird pseudo like Islamic Afro power, slightly Christian evangelical group. It's more almost political than it is religious. It's a very strange organization.
It's the remains of the organization that produced like Malcolm X.
Yes,
and a lot of,
but it's
morphed and like gone through like several iterations.
Oh, it makes Malcolm X look totally sane. Like Malcolm X is a genius compared to this guy. Oh yeah, Louis Farrakhan is crazy. I'm not sure there are a lot of people outside the Nation of Islam who would argue with that. But anyhow, it came out that the leaders of the Women's March, the National, which is located in Washington State, they're Nation of Islam people. They buy into a bunch of theories. Some of the theories they had are like, about, what was it? I'm sorry, I'm not good at remembering anti-Semitic.
Well, anti-Semitic stuff, white people are literally like monsters that the devil made that came out of the ground. Sorry, it's been a long time since I've read the books.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're into all kind of
so here's how it goes. there were kind of rumblings that says, hey, you know, some of those folks at the top of the Women's March might be anti-Semites. Wasn't a lot of hard proof. Then, at the end of last month, or no, it was this month, January 2nd, Tablet comes out with this essay, and it goes into the beliefs of the head of the Women's March. And a lot of people wanted to provide cover. They're like, no way, this is real. No way. And so the New York Times is like, okay, we're going to get onto this. We're going to figure out the truth. And they did. And unfortunately, the Women's March people did not cover their backs very well. One of them said that you know, Jews can be... Oh, let me find it. Anyhow, basically, the New York Times is like, look, we'll give them another chance. Let them state their case. They're not really anti-Semites. It couldn't possibly be that they believe in this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Here's a quote from Tamika Mallory, who at first I thought was one of the sisters from Sister Sister. Same name, different person.
Okay.
Since that conversation, we've all learned a lot about how while white Jews, as white people, uphold white supremacy, all Jews are targeted by it. Oh my gosh.
You know, when you're about to open your mouth and unless you're like Jewish and talking about like Israel or like, you know, Jewish community relations or unless that's the context, if the words that are about to come out of your mouth are like all Jews something
yes,
you know what, just skip that sentence. Just
Jews and their usury.
Yeah, just you know, it's like, remember that conversation we had about ending all your stories 3 sentences early? This falls in that same category.
Yeah,
just don't say it.
The New York Times contacted the head of the Women's March, and she's like, they got her to admit that, quote, said they seem... Okay, she put out a call of women of color join the planning team, was connected with Miss Mallory and Miss Perez. They're the head of the they're part of the chapter. Basically the head of the nationwide organization. At that first meeting, Miss Rubble said they seemed to want to educate her about the dark side of Jewish history, and told her that Jewish people played a large role in the slave trade and the prison industry.
Oh, boy.
Quote, I was taken aback, she said in her first extensive interview about organizing the Women's March. I thought, maybe there are things I don't know about my own people.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, Women's March is dead, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, so dead? They had Washington State after this had said, you know what? No Women's March in Washington State. Guess who came? Then New Orleans is like, no Washington's March in New Orleans. Chicago was like, you know what? After what they said, no Women's March in Chicago. California, though, is the best. They had the best reason. This one made me laugh out loud. This made me LOL out loud. Let me...
Wait. I've got a guess. They didn't want a Women's March because they were worried about its carbon footprint.
Close.
Okay.
Close. Almost as good. Almost as good. No. This is from Washington Post. California Women's March rally canceled over concerns that would be overwhelmingly white. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, now, this is Northern California. This isn't Southern California. I don't know a lot about the difference, but apparently there is a larger percentage of white people. There's more agriculture and, you know, small towns in North Carolina, California. Maybe that's what... I don't know. I don't understand quite the reasoning. But yeah, that's what they said their reason is. Not for the anti-Semitism, which, I mean, it probably does sound better than the anti-Semitism. Because at least with your crowd, because if you're on the left... And you totally buy this stuff. You want to have a solid excuse, right? You're not going to just say it was the anti-Semites. You're going to say, like, you know, it's carbon footprint. You know, they were using gender specific language.
Yeah.
Something. No. Yeah. So
wow.
Yes.
Yeah, I had not heard about any of this. That was. God, I haven't been watching a lot of news over the holidays. I've been trying to avoid it, honestly, and I had no idea. And yeah, it's you've got it all here. It's just like a chain of cities being like, hot potato, throw the hot potato to the next city.
Yep. Looks like Eureka might be closing it, and I guarantee we'll be hearing more stories about this in the coming days.
I would imagine.
It's hard, most of these movements, like the Women's March, have a hard time sustaining it. You know, they're like big, and especially they're connected to politics, and then they just kind of, you know, dissipate. And to be honest, that's what happens. That's just usually what happens. I mean, go to the Nation of Islam, remember the Million Man March. Okay, I think they try it like one or two more times after that, and that's it. Okay,
yeah,
so
they did the Million Man March, and then there was the Million Moms March, and then the word million, which apparently had lost all meaning at this point,
just a couple 100,000,
became like tens of thousands of people. Yeah.
Now, I, as a conservative, am enjoying the Schadenfreude, mostly because it was so political. They could never be like, let's unify around the women, and women are, you know, all the gains we've made as women are so awesome. Not so much. It was more like, what was her? Madonna had her weird spiel about maybe assassinating Donald Trump. I was like, guys.
Oh, there have been.
Or the genitalia hats, which I thought were just like hats that look like cat ears, because
I just thought they were funny.
I'm so Mormon that that completely passed me by.
Yeah, I just thought they were hilarious. I mean,
it could be worse. I mean, I don't know. They still kind of look like cat hats to me.
Me too.
They kind of deserve what they get, though. I have this in the outline, but this is a terrible story that just came out the other day. And it's from pluralist.com. It's not a website I use a ton, but I have, I think, 2 articles today in the outline from them. Male feminist kills himself after girl he loves falsely accused him of sexual abuse at the Women's March. It's a terrible story.
It's tragic, and I feel like it's the tragedy of it feels like a gut punch, but the actual content of the headline is so it's like a leftist Mad Lib, male feminist suicide, girl falsely accuses sexual abuse at women's. You know, it's just like it's like buzzword soup, and but not to undermine the seriousness of the that's really terrible, but yeah.
The details of this are, number one, it's from Argentina. This is not from the U.S. Number two, this is kind of what populism always gets you. You can look at the French Revolution. People get excited. When people get excited, they're sometimes a little shaky with the truth. You know, especially if they can exploit it somehow for popularity or credit or whatever. Poor kid goes to the Women's March. This guy is a super feminist. He's all about it. He's with his girlfriend. Girlfriend goes up at the march and says, my boyfriend, they read this list of men that abused and assaulted, them in this last year, and his name was read by his girlfriend. And it just deluged from there. I'm sure social media did all the thorough research and looked for nuance.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, even in Argentina.
I hate to break it to you, but have you ever actually been on social media?
I know. It
is a wasteland, my friend. It is
a wasteland. It really is. Yeah, so
that being said, please like us and follow us.
He killed himself. Yeah, and I'm not saying suicide is never okay or almost never okay. If I was a teenage boy, I can understand why you made that decision. I mean, career-wise, that thing is going to haunt you for ages. I mean, that kind of stuff is almost impossible.
But wasn't it a false accusation?
It was a false accusation.
It's just, God Almighty, I don't know what we do better. I don't have all the answers, but whatever we doing right now, it just doesn't work. It's not working.
And false accusations, look, this is the sad thing, is there is a cachet at the moment that being abused it's like bonus social points. It is very strange. I would rather us go back to 2009 where you own a Prius. That seems like an appropriate... not this thing where we have to I've suffered more abuse and torture than you did. It's just ridiculous. It is. But of course that it brings stupid things like this.
Yeah.
Two, it is sad. Now A similar thing is the March for Your Lives. Now, I'm not going to get too much into this. This is more for a future thing, but at least like the Women's March never made the claim that it was all young people. I mean, there's this great story from the Washington Post where someone did the math and did the sampling of the people, and it was like the majority of the people that came there had bachelor and master degrees. The majority were, the March for Our Lives was, what was it here, 70% women. They were highly educated. 72% or more had a bachelor's degree or higher. They said only 10% of participants were under 18. The average age of the crowd was just under 49 years old. It's the young people, man. That's what they ran
with. Those young 49-year-olds.
Those young 49-year-olds.
Maybe someday they'll move out of their parents' basement.
It didn't. Like, I would say that I don't know if it was as high as that, because when they had the one here in Sioux Falls on that very, very cold.
Oh, I'm guessing
March
that
morning.
varies wildly by location.
Yeah. So I would say that it
still funny.
Yeah, it is kind of funny. Again, the Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude, by the way, is not constructive at all. It's not going to help anyone.
I sound like an idiot, but I'm going to ask, what is Schadenfreude? I have no idea what that word means.
Schadenfreude is a German word. I am German. Well, my last name's German. I'm a lot of things. I'm a European cocktail. But it's a word for laughter at another person's expense. So when someone does something that hurts them, when they have a failure, when they trip over themselves, when the card, they shut their hand on the card.
So it's delighting in the pain or suffering of others.
Yes. Showing them. Yeah. The Germans
so basically all comedy.
Oh, the Germans have several words for mean comedy.
Why does this not surprise me? It's a beautiful language.
No one has ever thought that the Germans were exceptionally compassionate people.
Oh boy, that's yeah. But yeah, color me shocked that the only other language I would have assumed had multiple words for that would be Russian. I would assume the Russians have many words for
I'll have to
misery and pain as comedy or something.
All right, that was our hard news. Now we will move to more Schadenfreude and stupid stuff. My first one I have for you from BuzzFeed. Do you want to read the headline? It's kind of a wacky headline.
A woman defended herself against a dog's attack, and then the dog's owner bit on her arm?
Yeah, it's a little bit run-on for a headline.
Pete, where do you find it? So, is this for real?
It is real.
Jesus Christ. Sorry, wow.
Isn't that so
And it wouldn't be so bad, but there's there's a photo on the news story, and right there is a picture of what is very, very clearly, as someone who had sisters that bit, what is very clearly a very hard human bite into her arm.
So you're jogging, dog comes up and you're...
So they would put the dog down by law under that scenario. So do they do that to the person, or do people get a pass on biting?
I think they get a pass.
Okay.
Well, I mean, assault or something. I don't know. I think they would charge assault, right?
Yeah. Actually, fun story, technically that is what's considered mayhem. That's the antiquated term for, in law, when you do something like maim someone, like cut off their arm or something like that. You would, in English common law, you would be charged with mayhem.
I did not know that. Thank you. I just learned something.
Either mayhem or havoc. Now I can't remember which one. But one of those words is has a very specific meaning that means maiming someone.
Although I have to say, this wouldn't be the only person where if you see a dog walker with their dog, you're like, that dog is probably more intelligent than that person. Who's walking who? Or who's walking whom? That's kind of like when I walk my dog, though.
No, it is mayhem. Mayhem is its original term is, in English common law, is a crime that means you hurt the part of someone's body. Crippling or mutilation.
I always thought mayhem was just kind of like a synonym for chaos. I did not know that there was
they even use it in the commercials as, protect you against mayhem like me. Get Allstate, yeah. But that's the legal definition. Sorry, I went off the rails there on an English thing.
From bites to if you're a Harry Potter fan, this might feel like a human bite on the arm. I'm not really. I mean, I like the book. Everyone likes the books. Most people like the books, but okay. I'm not like day one. I'm in my Harry Potter costume to see the newest Harry Potter movie, writing Harry Potter fanfic. Oh, Yeah, no. So Pottermore, I guess, is the website that J.K. Rowling has that kind of like dishes random Harry Potter facts, encourages you to buy Harry Potter merchandise. I don't know how much control J.K. Rowling has over it, but they Pottermore decided, you know what people need to know about? You know what I always wondered when I was reading those books about Harry Potter? Where do they go bathroom? Like, they have bathrooms, right? So you just assume at Hogwarts they would use bathrooms, but apparently...
Well, that's the actual Pottermore account said
yes.
that, huh?
A verified.
You know,
check mark.
I feel like the Harry Potter verse, you know, with like the retconning that Dumbledore is gay, the retconning that, you know, this is this and that is that, and that these people were related the whole time. With you know, J.K. Rowling going, you know, most authors hate their fans. They really do. They hate the, especially like the diehard fan community, and especially the fan fiction community. They don't hate them, but
the writer of the Pern novels took her fans to court, if you remember.
Yep. And
really
J.R.R. Tolkien was just about as bad. He had like a security system and a new like fence installed to keep out the hippies that wanted to talk to him about how cool Frodo was. But anyway, creators are usually not super receptive to like especially fan theories and stuff like that. Whereas J.K. Rowling is just like, she's so shocked that she succeeded this hard that she kind of does this like, yeah, that's a good idea. How about that? Also, Dumbledore is secretly two baboons in a trench coat. Yeah, I read that online.
Baboons.
That must be popular. Yay, baboons. Yeah, hashtag yay, baboons. And it's like, let's see. This seems like they were watching that. There's a Family Guy. We're going to get in the weeds here on this reference, but there's a Family Guy where Brian is showing Peter all these alternate dimensions, and one is one where they're super advanced. They have really like high technology and stuff, and Brian's just like, hey, where do you go to the bathroom around here? And Brian's and Peter's, Stewie is just like, oh, just go. It's like, you really mean it? It's like, yep. And then there's just like a little pop sound. He's like, what was that? It's like, oh, in this dimension, they just zap their waste into another dimension. You never have to go to the bathroom again. And then later on, when they're dimension hopping, it's like dark and they can't see. She's like, oh, this is where it all goes.
Gross. Yeah, so I'm not sure we actually read what the tweet said. The tweet was, Hogwarts didn't always have bathrooms. Before adopting Muggle plumbing methods in the 18th century, witches and wizards simply relieved themselves wherever they stood and vanished the evidence. Gross. Gross.
I agree with Dig. Nobody was asking for this. Nobody needed a deeper explanation of Hogwarts plumbing. And worst of all, it doesn't make a lick of sense.
So I like when this and another article like get like really deep into Harry Potter. Like, look, they said it isn't until their 5th year that they learn vanishing spells. Okay.
Wow.
It's like, it sounds like a Trekkie. Like a Trekkie would make that kind of argument.
Yeah, except for the Star Trek universe kind of barely makes sense, as opposed to Hogwarts, where it's like, now it's a magic rock. Woo!
I don't know where this idea came from. Whoever, if it wasn't J.K. Rowling, I don't know if they'll be keeping their job.
She's up there with Stephen King for really like winging it and making up shit as they go along, but it's just like everything they do is solid gold anyway. So then it's like Stephen King standing there going, "Ooh, scary lamp monster," and the publisher's like, "Man, you have no ideas, don't you?" So when can I get that? Because we're gonna ship like 10 million copies of it.
I read like a couple different takes on this. I thought Jezebel actually was the most interesting. We're like, well, there is some historical precedence for people just going bathroom where they stand, and their evidence is this is.
Oh my god!
I did not know this was a thing, but apparently, certain royals, particularly at the Palace of Versailles.
Oh, I knew that they would just run around and collect it.
That's so gross.
It's so gross. They actually do it in that A History of the World Part 1 with Mel Brooks. Most people think that's a gag, that they're at Versailles and one guy's just like, I must pee. And this poor servant boy, played by Mel Brooks, runs up and collects the pee. Most people think that's a throwaway gag because it's a Mel Brooks movie, but that is an actual thing that the rich aristocrats did. The humor isn't just showing you how stupid reality or history actually can be.
Wow. The setup those royals had in Versailles was, well, I would usually say sweet gay, but that's kind of gross. I do not want to visit.
Yeah, no matter how opulent, even if you are at the very, very, very top of the social ladder, it's just like, you wouldn't have wanted to be a human being.
I'm never sure where
Earth.
It's safe to stand or sit.
You wouldn't have wanted to be a human being before, like, the 1940s, basically. Even if you were, like, the richest man on Earth, because stuff gets weird and gross when you don't have, like, indoor plumbing. People are like, that's crazy, World War II for plumbing, but technically I believe something like 40% of homes in the United States didn't have indoor plumbing up until like the 40s.
Yep, my grandma remembers when they got real plumbing for the first time.
Yeah. Wasn't that long ago, isn't that terrifying to think about? It's like that's such a like temporary convenience.
Oh no, one of the main things like the Bill and Linda Gates Foundation I actually agree with is they try to install toilets all over the world, flushless toilets.
Yep.
Yeah. And it is an amazing thing. Plumbing is one of those things we don't appreciate enough.
Tis true.
Except when the toilet is clogged, then you're like, oh.
Yeah, but basically if you don't have plumbing, it's like the toilet's plugged every day.
All right, well, we spent a little longer at Harry Potter's. Do you like retconning, by the way, Robert? What do you think of retcons?
No, don't like it. It's bad juju. Don't retcon.
So is there ever a retcon you like, or are you just totally against it?
I'm trying to think of one that I actually like, and no, I can't. I'm sure someone might pop up in the comments or something and or my wife or somebody will remind me of one that I actually do like, but as of this moment, no. Here's the deal. I don't like retconning. However, there are like prequels where they don't retcon, but they explain things, and I don't mind that as long as it's like makes half sense, you know. But I don't like the straight up just like bending the laws of your fictional universe like over backwards in order to make something happen, you know. I don't know. Maybe that's ridiculous. It's all ridiculous. This is all fictional universes. Moving on.
No. I actually am pretty open to retcons, depending on what the retcon is.
Like, give me an example of a good one. Give me an example of a good retcon.
A good retcon. Okay, that's tough. So, you're putting me on the spot. I was gonna say midichlorians, but I know that one's really hated.
I was gonna say that's. It was nice knowing you, Pete.
I was gonna say. I mean, it. Just like to me, like the Jedi had to have some organized system to figure out who was force sensitive or not. Last Jedi kind of wanted to do this retcon where it doesn't really matter, and I understand both sides because it's cool, like the idea that anyone could harness this inner potential. And the midichlorians is also this weird setup that Lucas had on the side where he thought maybe one day if we do a sequel, we'll like go to like the microverse, kind of like the new Ant-Man movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's where that comes. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But anyhow, no, I don't mind, and as long as you can say we can keep the original stuff by itself and stand alone and don't read more into it, and then we can also have expanded fiction.
See,
that would be. I'm willing to take that compromise.
I don't even consider. It's like I don't think that was a particularly smart move, but I don't consider the midichlorians thing a retcon because you've got to remember that Luke is coming up in basically a Jedi Dark Age. You would assume they've lost all kinds of knowledge and a whole bunch of because their library's gone. I mean, it's just like in the real Dark Ages where you had a point where historians are pretty sure they can figure out they can pinpoint where there were the 40 people alive left that could read Greek and stuff like that. And it's just like if one person died or if one library got burned down, all of a sudden it was like, oh, we just lost trigonometry, or oh, we just not trigonometry.
Yeah, those monks.
We lost
those monks that were handwriting the parchment generation.
Yeah, and if their monastery got burned down by some Vikings, it's like, oh, we just lost like 200 years worth of records for this half of the continent. It was like info loss was devastating, and so I assume that the episode 1 is supposed to be like the golden age of the Jedi.
Okay, here's a retcon I like.
Okay.
Doctor Who fans will get this. In the 8th Doctor movie, they state that the Doctor may be half human, and I have never had a problem with that, and I think it opens up a lot of reasons why he's so attached to humans and Earth.
Yes. I you know what? That's a retcon I have no problem with. In fact, retcon, like the very first time I ever heard the term retcon was watching Doctor Who.
Yeah, Torchwood. It's
because
the
Torchwood, they literally call the drug to like erase people's memory retcon, and I love that. And Doctor Who can get away with it because that gets into the whole. Doctor Who isn't really sci-fi per se. It's like a precursor to sci-fi called Phantasmagoria, where
it's even more so than Star Wars.
Yep, it's because it's like a loose, like English as in British culture doesn't make as big a distinguishment between fairies and aliens and outside realm kind of stuff that Americans do, where we're very like, well, it's either sci-fi or it's fantasy. The rest of the world is kind of like, well, they're both kind of like hypothetical imaginary things, so it's not that big a difference. And so, especially the English, like in their literary and like TV and movies and stuff like that, they don't make that big a distinction between the two.
All right, well, let's get moving on. Abe,
okay.
If you have an opinion about a good or bad retcon, please let us know.
Yes. I want to hear good retcons.
This is good fodder for future episodes.
Indeed.
Okay. We are going to move on to, do you want to go ahead with this hard subject? Because it's pretty...
Let's do it. Let's get it done.
All right, let's bite the bullet. Okay, so... Okay.
Do you think that's...
All right, to set this up, this got everywhere on Facebook during the month of December. It recently got put on YouTube. The YouTube's only like 269,000, but... It's weird to say that that's a small amount of views on YouTube, but that's how it is these days. But on Facebook, millions and millions of people have done it. This is kind of going all over the place. I kind of wanted to bring it up because not only do I find the subject of abortion a very stark one, if you're going to if you want to make an argument to me why it needs to happen, it's still something where you go back to that old, very safe, legal, and rare, like we said, the 90s. This one completely throws that under the bus. This is from the lady that started the Shout Your Abortion. We're moving from abortion where it be something terrible that has to happen sometime to it's awesome. Everyone should get one. Let's do it.
I'm sorry, you saying abortion is awesome and everyone should try one? There's an Onion video from the Mitt Romney-Obama race where... They did a, get to meet the candidate video, and so they'd have, text on the screen with, slideshow kind of music on. And for the Obama one, it was, President Obama, it's and then it just, bring up an issue, abortion. And then it shows, they Photoshop in Obama, in an operating room. It's like, Obama thinks that abortion is awesome, and that everyone should get one and try it, just to see if they'd like it, like that. And you saying that, it's just yeah.
Well,
I channeled that hard for me.
That sounds hyperbole. If this was 10 years ago, I never believed there'd be something called Shout Your Abortion campaign.
Yeah.
I'd never believe it.
Because, the Onion thing is clearly hyperbole, for shock value and comedy.
That's 2012, 2011?
Yeah, 2012.
Wow. Look how far we've come. All right. So this is the Shout Your Abortion campaign. This is called Hi Ho. They the videos where you make a kid watch a video this used to be Super Mario Brothers on the 64, and the kid's like, oh, how did they do that? And yeah, that kind of thing. With this one, they bring...
Some of them are super sweet. I like some of them.
I've watched more than a couple. I've enjoyed them. This is the same thing, but we're doing it with controversial... I don't know if controversial is the right word, but with some heavy stuff, yeah. So...
Yeah, no shit. Comments disabled for this video.
That was...
At least they did something smart with this, because could you imagine that comment section?
Oh my gosh.
Holy cow.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
And we'll stop every 30 seconds or so, and we'll chat a little bit about some of the claims.
I'm okay to have an abortion?
I want to say if you're being reckless, if there's nothing wrong going on.
I don't know. I just don't agree.
So, to be clear, that kid was like, well, yeah, if something reckless happened or something like that, I could see you having an abortion. And this lady just, in his face was just like, I disagree. So, no, I'm just going to keep playing the video.
Okay, not one of the kids in this, by the way, looks older than 15.
I see that. They even dressed them to make them look younger than they are. Which, honestly, I'm a little relieved they didn't have kids younger than they did. Or, well, I'll see. Maybe they have some younger ones in here, but... honestly, I'm just shocked you're having this talk. Maybe I'm old. I'm old and I'm old-fashioned, and I'm just shocked the idea that you'd sit down in a room full of kids and have this conversation. What the hell are you thinking? Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, go on.
So what are we here to talk about today? Well, I had an abortion. Oh. So what do you know or what have you heard about abortion?
I don't exactly know what happens, but like you go and basically get rid of the baby from inside you.
What have you heard?
That.
Same thing. Have you ever talked to somebody about abortion before?
I actually wrote a paper in 5th grade about it.
Wow. What was your paper about?
Abortion is okay. And it also depends on like what's happening and why they got the abortion.
So you think it's okay depending on the circumstances?
Yes.
Why did you have an abortion?
Okay, pause.
Yeah, her reaction is, oh, you mean a reasoned response that, like, context in the universe matters? Yes.
I know.
Small child talking to this.
That kid is the smartest person on this video, by far.
I'm getting that vibe. But definitely. It's just like, oh, a reasonable person in the room. Well, we better get him one-on-one with her so she can drill into him.
There are no children that push back on this. Like, that's kind of how crazy this video is.
My God.
No, especially if you're a little kid. I mean, imagine the social pressure to perform.
Whew, okay.
All right, go ahead.
Years ago, I got pregnant, and I really didn't want to have a baby.
May I ask what happened? Did he not wear a condom? Did the condom break? Was it
What a reasonable question.
Ejaculation?
Such good questions, Vanessa. He wasn't wearing a condom.
Why wasn't he wearing a condom?
Have you ever had two options and one of them, like, seems easier?
Oh, yeah. You could take a shortcut, or you could go the long way around.
It was the shortcut version.
What did your partner think at the time?
Jesus Christ.
It is pretty bad, isn't it?
You know what? I'd have to go to a convenience store, get a condom, but screw it. I'll just do a doctor's appointment in 9 months. Or whenever. I confess my ignorance. I don't know all the mechanics on how abortion works. But whenever. Seriously, so let me get this straight. It is more hassle to go to a convenience store and get a condom than it is to set up what I imagine are doctor's appointments beforehand and the actual procedure.
I know.
Okay, yeah.
Heat of the moment.
Yeah.
I think we were both, like, bummed out that I got pregnant. And he was just, like, supportive of what I wanted to do.
Were you reckless at the time?
I mean, I don't...
Way to go, kid.
I wouldn't really say that I was
you.
being reckless. Mistakes happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes...
I liked the he just did, because it was very, like, in his mind, he's just like... She's like, it wasn't reckless, but mistakes happen. He's like, in his head, he's thinking, when you're reckless, go on.
You just don't do that in the moment. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I'm glad.
When you have an abortion, what exactly do you do to like have the abortion?
You go to the doctor, and they put this little straw inside of your cervix, and then inside of your uterus, and then they just suck the pregnancy out. And it was like
wow, that is
dentist appointment or something.
That is
very
like,
scientific.
This is like a body thing that's kind of uncomfortable, but then it was over, and I felt really just grateful that I wasn't pregnant anymore.
And the disconnect with they suck, I'm doing quotes in the air now, the pregnancy out. Wow.
With a straw.
I'm sorry, I've been watching, and it's probably not good for my brain, a marathon of CBS's amazing show Criminal Minds, where they talk about like profiling serial killers and psychopaths. And I'm guessing that one of the agents from the MDU that like studies like psychopath behavior and tracks serial killers, that's from watching the show, I know that's called disassociation. And that's what serial killers do to their victims, is they'll sit there and basically like dehumanize them by referring to them as a thing in order to like,
use certain terms to kind of cover out what it actually is you're talking about. Okay, go a little further, because she's an amazing comment here about what...
I've gotten into many an internet argument about it. Facebook, Instagram, just all the social media.
Instagram.
It's so taboo to a lot of folks, and I don't know why.
Do you think that sometimes it's not okay to have an abortion?
I don't know why it's taboo.
Like if you're being reckless, if there's nothing wrong going on?
I don't know. I just don't agree. Do we want people to just have all those babies?
No.
So what do we do with them?
Put them up for adoption.
I feel like if
I love this kid.
to create life, I have lost the right to my
This is her
own life.
argument.
I should be the one to decide
Who lives and who dies.
life. Even if you're giving a kid up for adoption, you still like have a kid out there somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
Are you religious at all?
I believe in God.
What do you think that God thinks about abortion?
If I were to say, I think like he's fine with it because there are still babies being born. What do you think God thinks about abortion?
I think it's all part of God's plan.
That's smarter than what I said.
I really was just thinking about Drake when I said that. Are you guys religious?
Yeah, I'm Catholic.
Have you ever heard of what like the Catholic Church thinks about abortion?
I don't think the church liked it.
Yeah.
Because like they like see it as like killing the baby.
Really?
What do you guys think?
I think that it's up to you. Same, because
I feel supported by that.
I feel for that kid on the left.
I
So,
believe that,
like, that's how I would have felt
life
too.
begins when a person has a baby.
Oh.
Clearly, like, some people believe that life begins at conception.
It doesn't.
Do you know what conception? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
You know
when a
about-
sperm
goes
enters an egg into the egg, it becomes a fetus, and then the fetus is in a lady's
Attaches to the uterine
Yes,
wall. Yeah.
or in the womb. It's not really a human being yet.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, I kind of like to compare it to like a sea cucumber. It's not thinking. It's
So much
like
scientific
your arm is not
thought
capable of
and argumentation in
Neither
this
is a
video.
baby inside your womb.
I like your take.
at any point were you like considering not doing it?
No, actually, for me, it was like an instant feeling. Like, I was like, I'm pregnant, okay, I'm having an
She was
abortion.
like, I'm only 3 away from filling my punch card.
Okay,
They were
Sorry.
okay, yeah, they were like really supportive. Which I think was another reason I wasn't scared, is because I knew that I had so much support.
Have you told a lot of people or just your husband?
I told my Lyft driver on my way here.
What?
I've told so many people about my abortion. So I
Told you, she's the shout your abortion lady. This is
Shout your abortion is a thing?
yes.
And that I was
Okay.
choosing to tell people that
Big
because I felt like the pro-choice movement was really silent. This status update went viral,
Yeah.
which like wasn't just people being like, hey, I had an abortion too, yay, let's talk about it. There were like a lot of super angry people who were like harassing and abusing and threatening me.
I like to post controversial things. I think everyone.
This kid, by the way, right here, this
within
lady
reason, has
hits the
self-autonomy.
gem.
You know,
It hits
I'll
the
post on
nugget of
Facebook
this.
Sometimes, like, just your friendly reminder that abortion isn't murder.
Have you ever been like attacked online by pro-life people?
Yes, but I don't call them pro-life, I call them anti-choice.
Oh, I'm sure you
Because
do.
Who would disagree with that statement, right? Like being pro-life.
Yeah, like you want people to live their lives.
Who would disagree
to me,
with
the phrase pro-life
pro-choice?
is
It's
propaganda because often
circular
the people
logic
that
there,
say
lady.
that don't want to take care of people who have babies that they can't afford and then are totally poor. They want to deprive people of access to healthcare, and I'm just like, that's not, you guys aren't pro-life. I'm pro-life.
Do you think it's possible to be anti-choice for yourself, but pro-choice for others?
Yeah, everyone has a different background with like faith and just how they think about the world, how they think about when life begins. Is it an arm? Is it a sea cucumber? Is it a baby?
Yeah.
Is it a baby? I don't know anymore.
Could be a
It could be a sea cucumber.
Could be a Volkswagen.
And the
Who knows?
idea that a group of like old white dudes in the government would tell me, yeah,
I can't tell you how many times some old white dude has told me how I should be, how I
Every-
should look.
yeah. I'm sure.
I'm sure they're
All the
baffled
time.
by you. Do you have any
I don't suppose any of them were
Yeah,
loved
I
ones
have
who were
a lot.
like, I'd really love you to have a job
I
to be
do,
able
I
to
have
support
one.
yourself,
You
so
want to see it?
Oh my
you
God.
might want to think about what you would look like in a job
Okay,
interview.
stop. Sorry, you're gonna have to back it
Working on
up
it.
10 seconds. Back it up 10 seconds. This is now. This is crazy. Like, you can be like pro-choice. You could be even like, I want to allow women to live their lives. This is leaped far beyond that.
Yeah, for the record, I'm pretty loose with the, like, exceptions for, you know, the life of the mother or the health of the mother, you know, things like that. And I think there's probably a time and place for, and I think that moral, honest people of good faith can totally disagree on this issue, because we as a civilization do not have a consensus on this. You know, I don't think someone that's pro-choice is evil at all. I think maybe ignorant, or just like, you know, they disagree with me. They'd say I was ignorant. But I think if we're coming at it from good faith, you know, but there's that, and then there's whatever the hell this next thing is.
Yeah, this is, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say this. This just, I am flabbergasted.
Okay, let's...
I have a lot. Do you have any tattoos?
I do. I have one. Do you want to see it?
Oh my god. Nice, it's so round.
She has an abortion tattoo
like being
on her in her mouth.
One thing that you did.
It feels like I'm like living my exact right life. God's plan.
Yeah. Great.
I have so many more questions than answers from this. I kind of want to know the story of the mouth tattoo.
Great to meet you.
How much alcohol or narcotics was involved in that decision?
All right.
Hi, I'm Amelia Bono.
Okay.
Whoa.
There you go.
That was tough, man.
That was tough. I tried watching it with a relative, and they couldn't get past minute 2, and they were so PO'd at me. I was like, how could you do that? I was like, it wasn't me. I just cover it because it's socially relevant.
Wow.
It's really popular in the culture right now. So yeah, that one is insane. I don't know. It's hard to begin. So I thought, what first came up to me after I watched this was like, you know, I remember someone saying something about this, about euphemisms, and oh yeah, that hateful man, Louis C.K. So I'm gonna just play this clip. It's right there underneath. Yeah, it's not too long. He says the F-bomb here, by the way, guys. So skip 2 minutes if you.
Murdered. What are they supposed to be like? I don't know. It's not cool. I don't want to be a dick about it though. I don't want to ruin their day as they murder several babies all the time. I don't think it's killing a baby. I don't. I mean, it's a little bit killing a baby. It's a little bit. It's 100% killing a baby. It's totally killing a whole baby. But I think that women should be allowed to kill babies. That's what I think. They should be allowed to kill babies. Yeah. We get to kill babies! Do some shots and kill some babies.
Wow.
I killed like 4 babies last night. It's fucking retarded.
Wow.
Oh, that's so great. Oh.
I just think it has to be one or the other. You know, like when people say abortion should be
legal,
safe, and rare. Why rare if it should be legal? If it should be legal, it's shitting. If it should be rare, it's murdering babies!
There you go. It was more a libertarian argument on it.
It's a very absolute argument too, in the sense that it's like it's a very all or nothing, like either it is or it isn't killing. And you know, honestly, I find that thinking about it, you know, tempting, because I mean, it is or it isn't, guys. So then it's just like, and there's, but like I said, I make exceptions for health of the mother, stuff like that.
Yeah, usually,
because,
like rape, incest, that kind of thing, health of the mother. Like, there's, like, I'm not sure you might be able to fly in, like a handful of people in America, but even in our nation of 300-something million, you'd find very, very few people to be like, no abortion if it's going to kill the mom, or no abortion if she's been raped. I mean, even on the pro-life side.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do know there are some people who are like that, because I seem to remember, wasn't that even in the South Dakota legislature? We had somebody.
Yes, they did. They had a law they passed. This is like 15 years ago or something. But they didn't have an exception. And then I think they learned since then. And they had, even when they got passed, but got struck down in the Supreme Court.
We're done with the science fiction and the Harry Potter verse. So your whole conversation about the legislature learned something,
I'm sorry. This is South Dakota. I forgot.
Crossed over into science fiction, my friend. I'm sorry. You might be confused.
Look, it's just, look. You can't have an argument if we're not allowed to at least admit it's a baby. Where they say it's a sea cucumber. Look, you can have religious views, but science dictates it is a baby. It is never going to develop into a sea cucumber. It's never going to develop into a Volkswagen Beetle. It's never going to develop into like a different creature. It's not going to be like a raccoon.
Does it have its own unique human DNA?
Yes, it does. Did you know that its DNA is 50% different than that of the mother?
Somehow.
It's amazing.
Okay, so what's the...
Okay, so let's just cut into these few points, because I feel like... So number one, the pro-choice people, it's now being more and more admitted that their babies. Planned Parenthood had a bit of a goof-up where they had this video to preschoolers. By the way, why do we hire Planned Parenthood to teach sex to preschoolers and Girl Scouts? I don't know why they do that. Like, I just don't get it.
Well, believe it or not, and I will... Sorry, I almost threw up there. I will slightly defend them on this in that Planned Parenthood does a lot more stuff besides just abortions, and they do serve like a useful function in like health and sex education and stuff like that. That is severely lacking in this country, because all you have to do is see previous conversation about these teenagers who are like, I think of it like a cucumber. It's like, clearly... We need some nonprofits that are working the whole educating people about how this works, but yeah. But by the same token, yeah, here's the deal. I don't like to get into, on the left, they get into these psychological gymnastics about things being problematic, and this is problematic because of this, and this is problematic because of this, where they just become like a Leviathan eating their own tail. But I kind of have that a little bit with Planned Parenthood, because on the one hand, it's just like, yeah, they do that good thing, but on the other hand, their history is what on the left you'd call problematic if you look at any history of that organization and the whole eugenics thing. I'm pretty sure they were big on phrenology, too, there for a while, you know?
Oh, yeah. Back when they thought phrenology was legitimate science.
Uh-huh.
Well, so it's just kind of a thing we're admitting more that they're babies, which... Look, it's hard to have honest debate if we can't agree on at least some very basic facts, and we can disagree about what those facts even mean. You have to start somewhere. So yeah, there was this preschool ad, not an ad, but video where they admitted to that. So there was a book that came out with this video. In fact, the video was kind of pushing out for the book. This is what they said.
They put out a book?
Yes, and here's what they said in the book. This is a quote. This is what they told the website Rewire when they were at the party. They said, quote, often when somebody has an abortion, it's the same celebration, it's the same joy, it's the same relief that is present when I'm helping a woman have a baby, said Dr. Yashika Robinson, who maintains a private OBGYN practice in Huntsville, Alabama. Being able to be there for women, allowing them to exercise the right to choose, and then seeing the relief and gratitude when they leave the clinic, it's overwhelming.
Yeah. Okay, there are some, like, really useful, like, links and some information here, but I gotta get out of the abortion forest, because there's, like, 50 links here for that, and I can't talk about that anymore.
Sorry.
It's just like, because we're sitting in a room by ourselves, granted there are microphones, but eventually this becomes the whole Leviathan eating its tail, where it's just like, the only people who are going to listen to this beyond a certain point are people who have already... either like totally agree with us or totally disagree with us, and we're only making them disagree with us more by talking about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I admit it's a very tough argument. It's one of the few social issues that I'll plant my flag on and won't move a lot from, because on most things I'm like, yeah, we'll put it off. Doesn't matter. When it comes to things like that, I'm less likely to let it by. I just think it's such a moral quandary, and it's such a, I don't know, it just seems immoral in too many times. And I feel like, for example, one of the stats that we have is that, they came out this last year that more black women abort their children than are born live. And it's like, since...
Is that accurate? That can't be accurate.
It's...
I'll look here. You keep talking. I'm going to go look at that then.
It's just, I don't know, I'm very uncomfortable with it. I'm very uncomfortable knowing the roots of the movement, particularly Planned Parenthood, with Margaret Sanger, the crazy person that she was, who, oddly enough, I learned the other day, had an affair with Orwell, the writer.
Really?
Yeah! I had no idea.
I did not know that either.
It's kind of fascinating.
Yeah, I'll come back and look at this. I just, like, if true, that is, like, incredibly disturbing.
Yeah, so... Okay. I appreciate, by the way, audience, if you're still listening, you're awesome. You're better than me. I understand how uncomfortable it is. This is why it is uncomfortable. The problem is, and the pro-life people, if they want to make an argument, they need to somehow break past that, because the people on the rabid people on the left do not care. I mean, she was willing to get the tattoo. She's willing to sit in the room with a bunch of tweens.
She got a tattoo on her inner lip, for God.
Yeah.
We're talking about a woman who will get a tattoo on her inner lip about it.
And the media, unlike for the pro-life people, the media is willing to carry the water for them. I mean, it was like
Always.
2 or 3 Christmases ago on ABC for one of their Christmas episodes. They played Silent Night while this woman's getting an abortion. Like,
are you serious?
Yeah, it was one of the big ones, too.
So if I had my head in the sand on this for a while, because I feel like I'm just like, oh, come on. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
They really are. They'll carry the water quite a distance.
I'm sorry. That's up there with the... Speaking of liberal propaganda over Christmas break, did you watch any of that relaunch of Murphy Brown at all?
I did a little bit. I couldn't keep going because it was just kind of boring. I did like Murphy Brown, but
I liked the original Murphy Brown, but I was super young at the time too. And I told my mom, the only thing I actually remember about that show is a joke about a guy who took money from a bunch of sources without looking at them, and then he got elected, and he's like, "You got to help me, Murphy," and then because he got elected to Congress, but then he finds out who bankrolled it, and so he gets up there and is like, "Slavery is a harsh word, but why not put the poor back to work?" And he's like freaking out about he's like freaking out about his own talking points, because this is what the people who bankrolled him want him to say, and he's just like, I'm in trouble. I remember that joke because I thought that was, as a 10-year-old or whatever, I thought that was hilarious. And then I was a weird 10-year-old. And then the other thing I remember is the guy that was always painting her apartment that was never finished. Every episode, if she goes back to her apartment, and I don't know if they did this to save money or if it was just a shtick or what, but there was always that guy that was painting the ceiling of her apartment there, and he was always in paint schmuck stuff, and he was kind of like her blue collar perspective or whatever. So she'd come home to the apartment or wherever, and that guy was working on her ceiling. That's all I remember.
I watched this on Nick at Night. I was way, it was during the Bush administration that I was watching. The other one, the Bush Jr. JW.
Yeah, and this was George Bush Sr., where it was super controversial.
He had the vice president that couldn't spell potato right.
Yeah, those were the days.
Yeah, no, it was scandal, and abortion scene in the season's winter finale.
So yeah,
really did happen.
Murphy Brown did a similar thing here this Christmas, where the whole Christmas episode was them having Thanksgiving. It was Thanksgiving. They were having Thanksgiving with a Mexican family where it's the son is there and the mom and dad are illegal. And so ICE agents show up at this nice Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh my God.
And Murphy Brown's like, "I'm going to call my lawyers and blah, blah, blah. And you have no right to be here because you don't have a warrant." And they're just like, "Patriot Act. We don't need a warrant to enforce immigration law." And, they come in and we get a 10-minute monologue where the mom and dad are being ripped away from the teenage son, and they're like, "No, you have to go on with your life." And it's blah, blah, blah. It's in real life, they're going to basically the equivalent of a bus terminal, right? It's not like they're getting... I am very pro-immigrant, and I am super critical of Trump's immigration policy, but this was such schmuck theater, propaganda melodrama. That's what I'm looking for. It was all you needed was people on the side who were telling you when to cheer and when to go boo, hiss, and stuff like that. It was so bad, and it was so bad they canceled the show. That was basically the end of the relaunch series.
It looked like,
I'm sure its ratings didn't help either.
I read a great, this guy, he basically made this argument, I think Murphy Brown was hoping that they would get the president to tweet about it, and it will raise itself in the limelight, and the president just never bit. He just never cared. Never cared enough to tweet about Murphy Brown. Yeah, it's just like, we cater so much to the older folks, and God bless the older folks, but it's just kind of it's like, this was something people from the 80s liked. Let's wheel this out. Let's reboot this. It's just like, how about we make new things? Just try. I don't know. Well, rant over. Okay, well. I think I'll do this fun section and then I'll jump to our last segment because we got too heavy on abortion. I'll go back. No way. A segment on abortion that got too heavy? Next, we're going to talk about capital punishment, and then we're going to talk about... Oh, my goodness. Polio, and we're going to talk about... the Holocaust. Okay, you're joking now, right? Good times with the Holocaust. Okay. Okay, I'm looking ahead in the show notes, and I believe he is actually joking about that. Oh, no. Okay. No. Don't go, please. No, I'm not even dumb enough to go there. I mean, give me some credit. Okay, so let's see here. Let's do, okay. There's this lady, she's called Dr. Pimple Popper. I'm scared to even click this link. There is no video. Okay. Thank goodness. Thank you for that. It's from Jezebel. No, the Muse is part of Jezebel. Okay. It's Jezebel's segment. It says, Dr. Pimple Popper removed 68 lipomas, I think that's how you pronounce it, from one person in season 2 premiere. And this is a huge thing. Apparently, this started out as a YouTube thing where she would just have people come. Oh my gosh. Don't look at those pictures. Don't scroll down. There are pictures. Okay. Holy cow. Oh my God. I need a bucket. Hey, no throwing up on the big friendly couch. Oh my gosh, that's so gross. Yeah, and it's a huge YouTube thing, and so TLC like, let's give her a show, why not? TLC, we'll show anything. We're talking about it. So. TLC is like the freak show of TV. There are several channels that I think could win that. It's a very close fought battle for which one is the most freak show of TV. Oh my gosh, but people are really into this. I don't understand it. I don't get it at all. I don't either, man. I don't. It's like, maybe it's like that same thing where you get fascinated picking a scab or something. I don't know. But I don't want to watch someone else pick their own scabs. I don't get it. Oh, Louis C.K., by the way. Do you know that he's starting to come back in vogue slowly? Yep. What do you think of that? I don't know. It seemed like... Well, here's the deal, and part of it, I think, is on a case-by-case basis, because some people have had, their whole lives turned upside down because they, shared a dirty meme or something like that. Yeah. And then you have guys that, sexually assaulted women who are walking free and are after a month later, they've got a book deal or something. The guy from CBS, Moonves. Yep, people like that. So it's all over the place, and it's case-by-case. Louis C.K. I'm a little concerned about because on the surface, because I like the performer, I like what he does. Yes, the show was very funny. I want to be oh, it's Louis C.K., he's a good guy. But if you actually read, the descriptions of what he did, it's no, he does not belong unsupervised around women. I don't understand it at all. I just don't understand that desire or why you felt that was okay to ask people to do that. Yeah. Very weird. Very weird. Very weird. So that's where I'm at. It's just I love Louis C.K. And then all of a sudden I remember that. And now I feel gross about even having played that Louis C.K. video earlier. Because at the time I hit play on that, I'd forgot. I wonder where was Louis C.K. With my memory, I'm like an Alzheimer's patient. Cosby's just same thing, exact same thing with Cosby. Except Cosby in no universe can repent. Right? No. At least not in our culture. Maybe personally can. But in no way is he ever coming back as a career. Yeah. Not in this life. Louis C.K., I don't know, because he asked the women beforehand. I know he had the whole power dynamic thing, being a mentor and being so famous. See, the stories I heard, he didn't even have that. There was no, consent or anything. It was just kind of happened. And I don't want to get into details. No, it's pretty gross. But yeah. Different kind of gross from the pimple puppet. And that's why I'm,
I really liked his comedy, but I'm just like, ugh.
It's awful because, like Cosby, he had such brilliant insight, such funny family comedy. Loads of families that I knew, if they wanted to play something on the road that was funny and was relatively safe to listen to, Cosby was a good go-to. And he's kind of screwed that up for all of us.
He really screwed it up for a lot of us, because, like, I have a distinct memory that will now forever be, like, super contaminated and makes me feel very weird. When my grandpa Richard passed away. Now, keep in mind, like, a 90-something-year-old guy, super conservative, probably, I'm gonna say, a little, like, honestly, I assume he was racist, but I didn't know him that well. But he's from that era, But one of the things we found when he was cleaning out his place was a very heavily, what do they call that, dog-eared, like, which means he read it a lot, copy of Fatherhood by Bill Cosby. That was like that must have been like his. I've never had a conversation with him about books. I didn't even know he read books, but that was apparently, like, based on what we found, that must have been one of his favorite books.
I do know what book you're talking about, and it's slash how-to guide slash comedy. Like, it's kind of his own fun takes, and he has a great line in there. It's like, before we were parents, I had like 50 ideas about how to raise children. Afterwards, I have 0 ideas and 50 children. Something like that.
But yeah, so I have that memory, and I've always thought of it's like, man, that's so strange that Grandpa Richard had a Bill Cosby book. It's like, that must be a hell of a book. And now I have that. Thanks for for Bill Cosby being a scumbag. I now have that memory mixed with Bill Cosby's bullshit in my head, and I don't appreciate that.
I don't. And he was doing it when he was on the Cosby Show.
Yep.
That just messes all up.
And it's super disturbing. Like, you've seen the like old clips from the show taken out of context, like where it's like he's at a barbecue and it's like, it's my secret recipe. It's just like, knock him out, and basically talking about like what he actually does, like open and flagrantly in an episode where they're like grilling or something like that, hanging out. It's just like
the Spanish Fly was one. Yeah, and now in the new context, that's just horrific.
Yeah.
Horrific.
Context.
Okay, we're going to skip. We already did heavy things, but there was this social media controversy, and maybe I'll come back to it in a future episode, with this poor autistic girl who was Hispanic, and social media, just always so classy.
Yeah, if you take one thing away from this episode, social media is a wasteland.
It really is. It really is a wasteland.
Except us. Enjoy us, but the rest of social media, total wasteland.
Did you watch TV for New Year's, by the way?
Not actually. No, I didn't at all.
I got some fun things. I have New Year's Eve Madness Part 1, New Year's Eve Madness Part 2, and then there's one underneath it called Too Funny. That is what this is dedicated to. They all the plural.
What? See, you could this pluralist. I need to start reading the pluralist apparently, because these headlines, they're all like, seriously. You remember how I talked about the last one was like a Mad Lib or like a word soup or something? Like, you took a random word generator and made a headline?
Yeah.
This is the same thing. None of those words belong together, Pete. None of them.
I know. Okay, can you want to scroll down and click? Yeah, do that one. This was on NBC. This is Chrissy Teigen, who millions of families are watching. By
meanwhile, in Carson Daly's earpiece, knock her over the side. Knock her over the side.
See if she can float with their clear balloon. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And NBC. When you thought NBC couldn't make a more terrible New Year's Eve, the ball drops and they I don't know why, but they didn't even show it. They screwed up, and they showed the different... if you're in the control room and you choose which screen to show... I'm using the wrong terminology.
Really? They cut away from the ball drop?
Yes, they cut away from the ball drop.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but then, almost...
Some poor intern got in the, back office there got fired, though, for screwing that up.
Almost as good. So we lost the redhead because, remember, she was on CNN with Lois Anderson Cooper. Well, she's the one that had the comedian sketch about...
severed head thing?
Yes, who thought that would be funny? There's a bunch of, French... there's some Jacobins out there, but that's great.
Good reference. 10,000 points for Gryffindor for that for that Jacobins reference.
Guillotine humor never comes out. My French is sounding like a Russian accent. Yeah.
It works, man. That was awesome.
Okay, so they got rid of that. This time, CNN's gonna get Anderson Cooper liquored up. Because what else is funny than a drunk Anderson Cooper? Would you play role?
Yes, it's our hourly toast.
Not making it any less fun.
Toast.
Cheers.
Cheers if you have at home. If you're driving, but feel free to toast along with us.
Absolutely. You know what? Everybody here seems to be having a great time.
It's like burning your lungs.
Your lungs. Feels good to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it that Anderson Cooper's a teetotaler.
That is the best Anderson Cooper thing, and I'm including the video where he cries. That is the best Anderson Cooper thing I've ever seen.
Okay,
hands down.
And go scroll down. It gets a little bit better. I think they have it here. Yep, this is what Anderson Cooper, by the influence of alcohol, decides to share a wonderful story about his mother.
Oh, good. I'm sure.
Did you ever have a romance with Beatty?
No, not really.
No? What about Steve?
You don't have to answer any of this questions.
That's Anderson Cooper's mom, by the way.
I caught that.
Not with Steve McQueen.
Oh my God, Steve McQueen.
Wait,
wow.
Anderson Cooper's mom is Faye Dunaway?
Was he as cool as we all thought that he...
He was.
Yes.
He was. He was very chauvinistic, though. Allie, he felt, should have children all the time and do nothing else. But that's okay.
All right. Marlon Brando.
He's one of the great artists of all time.
Yeah.
And he's so, working with him, he's just so inventive.
My mom hooked up with him.
She did?
With hot Marlon Brando, not like Apocalypse Now Marlon Brando.
That's not his mom. Sorry, I got that wrong.
Okay.
I got that wrong.
I think it was on the waterfront Marlon Brando.
Wow.
She and Carol Matthau both watched the movie and both made a deal that they were going to meet up.
Look at the guy in the middle's reaction. Just
set it up for my mom. It was
his earpiece right now is take the shot. Push him off the rail.
My mom left in the car. He put his hand on the car and pressed his face against the door and said, "You have Japanese skin." I don't know what that means, but that's...
Yeah, he is drunk.
Wow.
Yeah, he said that his mom got busy with Marlon Brando.
Wow, that...
I want to hear more Cooper liquored up because he seems like a fun guy. I want to hear some of these amazing stories.
I want to see liquored up Anderson Cooper. Those are words I never thought would ever cross my lips, but here we are.
Yeah, he is the last of the Vanderbilts. Did you know that?
I didn't know.
No, he is the.
Oh,
he is
really?
His mom was Gloria Vanderbilt. He is the last descendant of the Vanderbilt line.
Dang.
Yeah, he came from super wealth.
Well, yeah. I mean,
he's a really cool biography about him and his mother. Actually, that I do recommend reading. I read it. It's really good. Very touching. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's I'm not sure even his mom is still alive. But anyhow, that wasn't his mom. Sorry, I just got confused because the way they started
that's
talking.
fine. That's fine. Hey, at least you didn't get drunk and tell, sex stories about your mom or, get drunk and, start slurring your words. And it's looking vacantly into the camera. Yeah. You're not Anderson Cooper, so you're fine.
Oh, man. If only.
If only.
We'll skip about the thing where people are saying we can't cure diseases. We have to leave them disabled because, community. Almost as good as abortion. Almost.
Okay, activist slams curing genetic diseases as threat to disabled identity? It's a form of Okay, nope, not
Skip.
even there. Too angry, Pete.
I told you.
I'm gonna Hulk out, and then you won't like me when I'm angry.
This world. I know. Sometimes when I read the news, you spend too much time reading news. Like, you know what? America is done.
Yep.
Just let it burn.
Yeah. Just stick a fork in her. She's done. Okay.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, so how much time we got left, Robert?
We're at an hour 14.
We got 15 minutes to plug any media review that you've seen the last month or two.
Okay. I'll go first. Oh no, I'm not going to launch the Birdbox thing yet. I will say that Bandersnatch, while not perfect, is super interesting, and I am curious to see where they go with the technology. Do you know Bandersnatch?
So what rating would you give Bandersnatch?
I would give that like 3.5 out of 5 stars.
Okay, that's pretty generous. I don't know. I don't know what the Rotten Tomatoes is on Bandersnatch.
Oh, that's a good question.
That probably sounds about right, because I don't think it.
Did you play it?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the endings work. Like, it wanted to say like choose your own adventure, and it isn't really until the end, because most choices you make, they just route you back, and so you have to choose a different one. Whereas in the endings are pretty interesting.
73%.
So 69 audience score.
So actually, my vibe on it is about where people are at, which cool.
I mean, it was still Black Mirror, and it was pretty interesting. I thought it was kind of stupid, though. Like, near the beginning, was like the game developer guy was like, you could come and work for me and develop your game. And me being a kind of a classic liberal conservative guy, I was like, that's great. Yes, capitalism is at work. Let him go work.
But here's the deal. I have not met a single human being who said no to that, because even the people who are like edgelords or whatever, who wanted to make the like I listened to one review that was a guy that was talking about, he's like, I didn't care about anything, but I just wanted to make the best video game possible. That's how I was playing the game. Like, I played it the first time promising myself that I wouldn't kill anybody or like do anything immoral. I wanted to see like how that would play out in a Black Mirror universe. Not well. But no, I'm 90% sure that like 99% of the population takes that option, because whether you're like trying to like fight the system, or you're trying to like, or you're just like straight-laced and just want to do what you want to do, either way, it's like, I want to make a video game. Guy says, here's money to make a video game. You take it. I almost feel like that was purposely like a little bit of a loop right off the bat. Just to, like,
it's almost like a tutorial.
Yeah, like a tutorial, basically.
That kind of philosophy does fit in with Black Mirror. They're very much very kind of a technocratic, anti-capitalism kind of view. But I mean, I like it. Like, there are some people who are more conservative out there that get mad watching media that isn't towards their thing, but I'm like, I like different visions of different things. I'm cool with all kinds of science fiction writers, okay? I can enjoy a piece of art and work, understand what it's trying to tell me, and just disagree.
Yep.
That's perfectly fine. I mean, one of the things Black Mirror did really well, that episode, it was 2 seasons ago, where everything was on a social credit system. Holy cow, that was prescient.
Yes.
That is insane. But that's what's coming, and that's what's happening in China now. That's what's being sent out. China's trying to sell that to all kinds of countries. Zimbabwe and Venezuela's already bought on. But by the way, I'm not sure that will help Venezuela all that much, but okay.
It seems like, how can we make this country more shitty? How can we make daily life more agony? Oh, I know. A social credit system. We can't feed ourselves. We literally don't have diapers. We're like pooping into our hands.
Yeah, all our doctors left the country.
I'll have a smart device to let the government, or so that the government can know that I'm a good guy. I wonder what privileges would be like there. Is like, does that mean that you get toilet paper? Like, if you're like a model citizen in the social credit system in Venezuela, does that mean you get clean water?
You're first in line for the queue.
Yeah, okay.
It's like when you reserve video games. You reserve some Charmin.
Yep.
If you reserve Charmin and pay an extra $10, you'll also get this collectible.
Get the deluxe pre-order edition Charmin.
Get this figurine and nylon bag that may or may not end up being made of plastic or cheap plastic.
Yeah, get this sharpened stick for fighting off others who want your toilet paper. Okay. I laugh, but I shouldn't, because it's human tragedy. But self-inflicted, so it's a little,
yeah, a little bit of that Schadenfreude.
Exactly. There you go. Today's word, kids, is Schadenfreude.
I think it's like SCHADENFRAUDE. I think.
I'll figure it out because I think that's what we're going to call the episode. I feel like it needs that for the title.
Do we want to? Okay, I'll do Bird.
Yeah,
I'll do Birdbox. Birdbox. Now Netflix says 45 million accounts have watched. They haven't provided any statistical evidence.
Netflix provides zero transparency on download numbers, so they can say whatever they want.
Seriously, I'm not good. Okay, so I want to be fair. I like Sandra Bullock. I like the psychiatrist from SVU, and I like Malkovich. Malkovich is in there. John Malkovich.
Yeah.
Other than that, it is a garbage movie. It really is just not good. It's one of those movies that if you're at a hotel and you fall asleep with Showtime on and you wake up, you're like, what the fetch is this? One time I did that. It was Wicker Man. I woke up to Wicker Man.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, what is going on?
The remake?
Yes.
Oh, man. Okay, yeah. That's
kind of what Bird Box is.
I kind of apologize for that. I wasn't even responsible for that, but I apologize.
It makes even less sense The Quiet Place, because Quiet Place, besides being kind of risky because it sacrifices its toddler at the beginning of the movie, spoilers.
Spoilers for the first 5 minutes of a movie.
At least most of the rules make sense, even if you don't agree with all the decisions they make. Like, the rules don't make any sense for their universe, for Bird Box. And the fact that they don't bump into every single thing all the time.
Yeah. So yeah, here's my rant. Pete got a little taste of it. Anybody that listens to the Sioux Empire podcast, which will come out probably a little bit before this, has already gotten this rant. I am so damn tired of what I call the floor is hot lava horror movies, where here's the formula for writing the floor is hot lava horror movie. 1. Take a preposterous concept and make it like a hard rule, like the floor is hot lava, we can't touch the floor. Nobody can wear blue. If you wear blue, everyone's going to, anybody that wears blue will die instantly. I'm not making this up. There's a dubbed movie on Netflix from Spain that's all about you can't go outside.
Rain. Is it The Rain?
No, this is a different one. The Rain is also in this category, but this is a completely different one where it's just like if they step outside, they just have a heart attack. So it's like these guys are like in an office building and they've eaten the last of their food and they're trying to tunnel down the subway tunnels to try and get around and rescue their families and stuff like that. And yeah, but there's this whole universe of them, and A Quiet Place and Bird Box are kind of the late stage version of these, and just I'm done. Seriously, it was kind of cute with the whole It Follows horror movie thing, and even that one doesn't really. That's more of a monster movie than a
really
lava one,
horror,
but
it's more straight up horror.
Yeah, but it does have it's proto The Floor is Lava, because it has this very strict rule. It doesn't really make any sense except for in its universe, but at least in It Follows, it made sense in its universe. Does that make any sense?
No, I understand what you're saying. You know why they're doing it? It's because these movies are as cheap as heck to make.
Oh, yeah.
Super cheap. And if you're Netflix, you don't have to pay anything in advertising because, you just put on the front page. Since everyone's going to watch it, all the media will cover it. Instead of paying $20 million for advertising, you just give Sandra Bullock $20 million. Yep. Make what you want.
And people go, a Sandra Bullock movie on Netflix? Oh, click on it, And I still don't know how their model long term is going to work for profitability.
Oh, they're it's insane how much debt they're in, but no one's saying that they're gonna they're in danger. They just sorry, I love Netflix. Like every other person in America, I have a Netflix account.
Yeah,
and I love it.
Yeah, I'm sitting here. I don't know how their business model will ever survive, and yet. It's like everyone in America, I watch Netflix, so I was like, I think I just answered my question.
Yeah.
But like you said, I do think they are heavily leveraged, and I think that's why they dropped a whole bunch of their really, really big, expensive prestige shows.
Marvel shows, for example.
Well, that's more the Disney is doing their own.
Disney wants their own stream service.
Disney Plus or whatever. I'm just scared because they're taking all the Marvel properties away, but they also have a policy that the Disney Plus service will be nothing rated R and basically nothing above PG-13.
Oh,
so
that won't necessarily work because those are mature rated shows. The Netflix
so that's why Daredevil died, because they can't, because even though it's successful,
was amazing show.
Yeah, but it's R-rated. R-rated TV, and so it has no home in Disney Plus.
How in the world would Punisher ever exist on that?
Same deal. This season will be the last. I'm sure they've already made them, so they have to put them out. But there's one more season of Jessica Jones, and there's one more season of Punisher
that comes out this month.
Yep, and once those are done, that's it. Because no more R-rated Marvel.
They're gonna have Punisher, but it's like shoot, like cut away. He just killed all those people.
It'll be like the Punisher. Do you remember the Spider-Man cartoon from like the 90s?
Dude, I love the Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s.
Do you remember the episode with Punisher?
I do, and the one with Daredevil.
Yep. Yeah, Daredevil was in a couple of them.
I remember the one where Mary Jane turned out to be a water clone. I remember it all, man.
But I'm trying, and they had Blade. They had Blade in that series too.
Who looked just like no, he was a white guy in this one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they made him. Yeah, never mind, take it back.
But
I was getting the Wesley Snipes.
It's pre-Wesley Snipes Blade, which I could go on about.
Nick Cage is white in that one too. Yeah, back then. Yeah.
That's right. They made Nick Cage black or a white guy. Oh my gosh. We truly are living in the weirdest timeline, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Walking Dead. My brother for Christmas. I've been kind of asking him, like, let's have a party, you and me and your bro. He's our mutual friend, Tyler, who loves Walking Dead, like we do. And it's like, let's just get the newest season of Walking Dead, the half season, and we'll just binge it. And we did, and it was great. It was so much fun. Now I have a much lower tolerance. I have a pretty high tolerance for not good Walking Dead. So I like season 7 and 8. I know a lot of people didn't. But, I mean, season 9 was pretty good. I don't know. You said you haven't... When I last talked to you, you said you kind of fell off, like, season 6-ish.
Yeah. And I haven't picked up any... I honestly barely, like, keeping my head above water as far as, like, keeping up on TV shows. Like, I have a coworker who basically give me like assigned viewing of a whole bunch of anime on Netflix that he's like, you have to go check out. I'm like, okay.
Man, I used to be so into anime.
So at
same problem.
5 a.m. this morning when I was prepping for recording the Sioux Empire podcast, what I had playing in the background was a anime called Baki, which is just like, it's so over the top with the like martial arts fighting and the like people being able to like break their spines and pull them out through their neck and stuff, like it's like so over the top, like that kind of action that it's not even fun, that it's just kind of like, this is just stupid. But yeah,
I think that's also aging. I think as you become older, you have less tolerance for whimsy.
Except the guy that recommended it to me, I'm pretty sure is like 5 years older than me, so just saying.
Let me tell you, I Walking Dead, if you lost interest because of all the fighting with the Negan stuff, come back. It is really good in season 9. And you don't really need to know too much about what happened because they have 2 time skips. They have this time skip of a year and a half, and then they have a time skip of 6 years. So it's not quite a hard reset of the show. But
they skipped 6 years?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, the reason they did was because in the graphic novels, seasons 1 through 8 take place in about a term of 2 years. Like Walking Dead, and the graphic novel has this problem too, where it's like, we're supposed to believe all this happened in just like a very short time period. Yep. So to catch it up and to have a nice reset for viewers, so maybe bring those audience numbers back up, they decided to push it so the time of the show is taking place at the time of the audience watching the show.
Okay. That makes sense to me. That actually does make me want to watch it again, because if nothing else, I have a morbid curiosity about how they pulled that off, or how they handled the transition.
It is really interesting because...
Is it really jarring, or did they actually build up to it?
It is interesting that now they focus more on how you can't rely on society anymore. The artifacts of society get by. Bridges are crumbling. No one can scavenge gasoline anymore. You know, that you have to grow all your food yourself. It's very interesting in that sense.
Cool.
They give Daryl a dog. It's awesome.
Daryl has a dog?
Yes.
I'm back. I'm back on board.
There's a fan petition.
Does the dog use the crossbow?
No.
Oh.
But it does tell him when zombies are near, and it helps him tend to walker traps.
Oh yes, Walker.
And it has
quotes in the air.
It likes to eat Walker hands as dog chew toys, which is kind of awesome.
Nice. Yeah, I might have to check that just out of curiosity of how they handled that. But anyway.
So what? We have any more time? Can I do one more?
Yeah, absolutely. One more? Yeah.
Doctor Who. Have you? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I think you did hear my review of it 4 episodes ago.
Sitting on that DVR box right there are the whole new season with the new Doctor. I've only watched the first 2 episodes because I watched those back at the farm with my mom. So you're talking about Jodie Whittaker? Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even know it came out on disc already.
No, sitting on that DVR.
Oh, DVR. Sorry.
But I promised to wait to watch the rest of season 1 with my wife.
Oh, so. I have the same thing. I have family members, like my brother was who I watched the Walking Dead show with, and I waited to watch it with him. With my mom, Doctor Who actually was one of those that I took my time to watch with her. She can't even sit through it. It's just not. It's not good. The first one's okay, and this hasn't anything to do with her being a woman or the progressive politics they push. Like they push the progressive politics like never before. It's just not good. It's badly written. The acting, the material they're given to act with is just awful garbage. And I've seen shows like Broadchurch. Jodie Whittaker can't act. I know she has the talent and ability to. The material she's given is just lousy. I've seen Bradley Walsh, for example.
The only thing I know is that I stopped following it on the reactions on YouTube when there was a whole bunch about a Rosa Parks episode.
Oh, that one.
And I was like, "Are you kidding me? We did," because it's just it's already it's trying to or I would have assumed is trying to not get typecast into we're the liberal show that's all about women and liberals and everything else.
No, it is. That's what it is. It's completely sold itself to that. It's like this is a BBC mandated show.
Yeah.
The BBC says you have to do X and Y in this episode, and you can't divert, and it has no nuance. Every white person in the Rosa Parks episode is evil, which is not true. The South was heavily divided on this issue. The white part of the South was heavily divided on the issue of segregation. That's why it was possible for them to move forward past that. And it has no nuance, has no look. The enemy is like a super time travel Nazi who, for some reason, has to stop Rosa Parks because in no other way will civil rights happen for black people.
Speaking of fanfic, nothing like taking the power away from. No, it wasn't this brave woman that stood up for civil rights by herself in this lonely thing. It was a whole staged thing where she had to be there and actually there's parts of it that were kind of staged because there was a woman.
Yes, I know. That one's always got to me too. Yeah.
Where there was a woman who did the same thing Rosa Parks did, and because she was like a single mother or something like that.
Yeah, she was older.
She wasn't as media friendly, so they used Rosa instead, which both brave women for doing that.
This annoys, the British love doing this. They love going. They don't self-examine very much their own racial history so much as they go to us and black. Look at those racists.
Pete, that's the secret of the whole world. You know how Iran calls us the Great Satan, and the Chinese talk about how decadent evil we are, and I'm sure in Venezuela they're hearing about how evil we are. Here's the deal. We have an open media, a free country, so we're allowed to be critical of our stuff. Every country on Earth except the U.S., and actually the U.S. even to some extent kind of uses itself as parts of itself as a scapegoat. The whole rest of the world, if nothing else, the U.S. in guilt and blame is too big to fail because the intellectual concept of America as this amorphous cloud that you can throw all your hate at instead of fixing your own issues in your own country is too big to fail.
Oh, and it's the Doctor Who thing. It just bothers me because it's the media has to carry water. So if you look at the Rotten, in fact, could you go to the Rotten Tomatoes score for Doctor Who real quick?
Sure.
Doctor Who season 11 Rotten Tomatoes. It's crazy. This is the exact same situation with The Last Jedi all over again. It really is, where the critics are just like, Doctor Who can do no wrong. And the audience score like, this is a POS. This is terrible. This is terrible.
I have never seen that big a difference between the tomato meter and the audience score.
Yes, and the tomato meter is insane.
Wait. Liked it?
Oh,
23%?
Oh, and that's even positive because Rotten Tomatoes adjusted it that half stars don't get counted. No ratings don't get counted. It's a weird system. So they have great inflation. And and I will admit that there are probably people who are just trying to take it on purpose.
Yeah, that's very true. You could have Russian trolls out there that are just like, we're going to get you, Jodie Foster. No, not Jodie Foster. Brain, not work good. Jodie Whittaker, thank you.
Yes, so it is not good. They just finished the last episode, New Year's special. It was a little better than most of the season, but not by much.
Okay, I was going to say, don't spoil it. But
no, and I tell you, when I'm on my first episodes of the podcast, I told you I'm like one of the biggest Doctor Who fans in this state.
Yep.
Like,
I will attest to that.
I seriously, I can name all the Doctors and the actors that played them and their companions. Most of the name of the actors that can play them. I have all the big finish.
From all the good seasons, at least.
It's just, I'm so sad about this. And they kind of played around with the idea that they may or may not come back. They're good. Like 2020 is when the next season comes. And Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall kind of said, like, maybe I'll come back, maybe I won't. Jodie Whittaker said, well, if Chris Chibnall's not coming back, I'm not coming back. And
I don't get the BBC. I mean, I realize it's a tiny island, but seriously, you don't have the budget for, like, it's literally your biggest show, and you don't have the budget to put out one season per year. Is there only, like, 3 directors on that whole bleeping island? It's like when Moffat was literally like producing Sherlock. It's like, well, we can't have Sherlock this year because he's with Doctor Who. We can have Doctor Who because he needs to be working on Sherlock. There are other directors, right?
The other people can show.
There are other showrunners. Yeah, seriously, what the?
No, I could probably go on and on about this. I will say that.
Island, man.
I hope this doesn't kill off Doctor Who. The politics are so bad right now. It's like, well, if this doesn't do well, how could they not like such and such?
On the bright side, if it is not coming out till 2020, that gives us an extra year for the political correctness. Yeah,
it gives production time.
It gives us an extra year for political correctness to die down a little bit more because it comes in cycles. The guys from South Park have this whole thesis about a 7-year cycle with political correctness. Yeah. And so we're coming back down. And I've seen it already where people are like more and more skeptical of the like just ridiculous stuff that we saw in 2017 and a little bit in 2018. And it feels like we're coming back down.
Oh, I hope so.
So I'm like, 1 year from now, maybe it will have like backed off. So we can only hope.
Okay, last word on this. Neil Gaiman, the amazing writer, one of the greatest writers of our age. Really, really cool guy. He has a great blog, by the way. Side note.
Cool.
Talks about his family a lot. I just read one about how he dedicates his books. Very interesting. And yeah, Neil Gaiman came out because one of his buddies was the writer of one of these episodes. I want to say it was Demons of Punjab or something. And the people are saying this is terrible. It's like, look, I read the script before and after it went to the BBC. It was not the same thing. I mean, basically, he was kind of casting aside as like, look, it's not the writers, it's the people that mutilate their scripts. And and I don't know if that's true or not because we'll find out in years to come when the long documentaries and the books about these production years of Doctor Who, we'll find out the truth. But that's my guess. I think it's mandate from the top. All right, now this has been a weird episode. I apologize for that. Thank you for listening. You guys are amazing. Robert is amazing. I'm glad we can make this happen. Thank you so much to all 4 of you who have spent the time listening to this podcast. It's appreciated. It has been great. More and great things in the future. This is a slow ride. We're building it up more and more, learning a little bit each time. I know today we experimented using a bit more hard stuff for the duo episodes with abortion, but I mean that's what happens. You experiment, you try things out. Sometimes it works, sometimes they don't. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, ideas, if you would like to send me Nigerian Prince emails, you can contact me at pete@happy-warrior.net, pete@happy-warrior.net. I do Twitter, or I just try Twitter. I have 8,000 followers, by the way, on Twitter. What do you think of that?
That's pretty awesome.
I know. Thank you. I'm Happy Warrior P, I think that's probably something I should know. And Facebook is Happy Warrior Pete. And all those. I love interacting with people. I love it when people actually want to interact and have honest questions and comments. Social media isn't always the devil's toilet. Sometimes, rarely, it can be good. Be one of those good ones. Please. Okay, I did my plugs. Now you get to do yours.
TheSiouxEmpire.com. All the, insane randomness that I'm doing. It's all there. Check it out.
Yeah. Urban Indians is amazing. Dress Code is so funny. The SCP podcast, Sioux Empire podcast, the what do you call it? The main ship? The
flagship.
The flagship, thank you. The flagship, also pretty good. And you got a couple other things. Perculations. Is that how you pronounce it?
Well, we dropped some podcasts here at the first of the year. So I am down to only 6 podcasts.
Only.
So here's the official run. There's The Happy Warrior. There is Dress Code, Urban Indians, Sioux Empire podcast, Macabre Grimoire, our our paranormal research podcast that's all about ghosts and stuff like that. And then the 6th one is not launched yet, and that is Edge Case, which is
I got the name wrong.
Sci-fi.
I was thinking of Edge Case. I just said the wrong name.
No, you're fine. But yeah, so Edge Case, I hope we will be putting out new episodes this fall, because this will be a fully produced audio drama production, anthology. So massive cast, lots of writing. I've been super busy at work lately, but I've got I promise I'm going to get to them all. I've got 5 submitted scripts sitting on my desk that I haven't even opened yet.
That last one you sent me was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
That was incredible.
So, really looking forward to that. But yeah, lots of stuff going on. Just follow me on the social media if you want to know all about it. So.
All right. Well, thank you once again to the amazing and magical Robert Mehling.
Aw.
Thank you, audience, for your time. God bless this amazing country. God bless the troops that fight and defend for us and our civil rights. And God bless you. All right. You have a nice day.
Thank you for listening. The Happy Warrior Podcast, hosted by Peter Vaughn Pischke, produced by Robert Mehling, a production of the Sioux Empire Podcast Network. Learn more at happy-warrior.net.
A production of the SiouxEmpire.com.